Dreamers, welcome back to another podcast episode of Forever a Dreamer. We know the financials and all those things are very, very important in business. Well, this lady here knows how to get it done and scale you to the next level.
I had a pretty extensive career in banking. I started in 97 as an investment assistant. How do we be prepared for those lending opportunities, the grants and all of that when they want those financials? That's where I come into play. One of the things we want to do is be responsible and run our business like a business.
These are the stories of dreamers who saw a vision, created goals, and turned their dreams into reality. Welcome to the series of Forever a Dreamer, where we share the humble beginnings of dynamic female entrepreneurs and professionals who scale their way to the top by starting small but dreaming big. I am your host, Cheetah Prototype, and welcome to today's show.
Today, I want to introduce you to a very, very important woman who I just recently met like 3 weeks ago at the Women's Consultant Corporate Live Conference. Kimberly Love is a serial entrepreneur, guys. She is a realtor. She's also have years in the accounting and financial background, as well as her own consulting firm to help businesses like yourself really take your dreams and turn it to the next level, but using finance and accounting. And we know the financials and all those things are very, very important in business. Well, this lady here knows how to get it done and scale you to the next level. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Kimberly Love, and I want her to come on and share more about herself and who she is, her company, and then we'll start the podcast from here.
Hello, dreamers. It's good to be with you all. Thank you so much, Chisalu, for inviting me. It was amazing meeting you and just having this opportunity to talk with you and your listeners about what we're all striving for, to be great in business, growing our businesses, but keeping those books in order as we do so that we're always ready for everything that we're striving for and dreaming of. How do we be prepared for those lending opportunities, the grants and all of that when they want those financials? That's where I come into play.
Ooh, and I love that because you hear so many talks, especially on social media, about entrepreneurs who are startups looking for funding, and they think that it's like they hear all of these stories about people going into the bank without any proof of anything and able to get funded instantly. But can you kind of elaborate on your story in the banking industry, how you got started, and your knowledge of understanding how, it's not that easy to go into the bank with no proof of income and just say, hey, I'm walking out with $50,000 today?
Yeah, that wasn't happening when I was still a banker, and I just left in 2019. So I doubt very seriously it's happening now. But I had a pretty extensive career in banking. I started in 97 working in the trust company for a major bank. Today will be called U.S. Bank. That's not who it was at this time. So back then, but I started as an investment assistant, and shortly thereafter became a treasury analyst. I went from that role into becoming a treasury management consultant. From that, I became a private banker, then a senior business lending officer, and then back to treasury management as a treasury management consultant. So from 2009 through 2019, so all those other years in between, I was doing those other roles. But from 2009 through 2019, I was a treasury management consultant. So I received my certification during that time, which is a certified treasury professional. So I still hold that designation today, which kind of plays into the accounting and CFO advisory services that I offer to businesses today.
Yeah. And I love that. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about what you do at KRL Consulting and the services that you offer? But for those people who may not know what a CFO advisory service is, can you explain that as well?
Absolutely. So, and I want to circle back to what you also wanted to know more about. When you're coming into a bank, so you are a business and you are looking for funding, you need to grow, you're trying to grow the business, or you need funding to purchase supplies or whatever your type of business may be, or just working capital maybe. You have to have your financials in order. And we are looking to see, the bank wants to see your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement, or you can call it a balance sheet and an income statement. You're going to hear those terms used interchangeably. They are the same document, okay? But you want to have those in order, and that's what they're looking for. This is going to tell them the strength of your company, whether you're profitable, whether you're not profitable, what kind of revenues you have already for that previous year. Now, when you track it on a monthly basis, you can take it in and show them what it's been for that month, what the current is, or for a quarter. They may say, hey, you can bring them January through March and just show them where you are. Let's say you have an April appointment. You could show them what your business has done through first quarter, second quarter, and so on and so forth. So one of the things we want to do is be responsible and run our business like a business. So we want to use tools like QuickBooks Online, Xero, etc., this accounting software to help us track what our business is doing. What are our transactions? What are we doing on a day-to-day and month-to-month basis? And the software will give us this type of reporting, not just financials, but there are other things. So as we go from just doing the regular accounting and having our financials in order, we look at CFO advisory. So let's just say, hey, we're successful. We're six figures. We're multiple six-figure business. A lot of my clients that are in that sweet spot right there, that multiple six-figure and up level, they want next level services. They've already got this down. They're doing that. They're doing it well. They can get funding when they need it because their documents are in order. So they're looking for, hey, I need to track my KPIs. What is that? My key performance indicators. I need to know where to focus. I need strategic planning. I want to make sure this is my vision and I'm executing it according to what my financial data is providing me. So this is why it is so important to maintain your financials, because this is how you're going to learn to make moves and decisions in your business to run your business like a business. We don't want to treat it like a hobby. So in my company, these are the things we do. So we're working with you to understand what is the vision and what it is you're looking to achieve. And then we are going to study the data. We can look at that data. I can do month over month comparisons. And as we grow it out and you're doing it over a period of time, then we can start doing year over year. This is how decisions are made. We don't just pull it out of thin air and go, oh, let's just decide. No. What is our data telling us? And does this make sense for our company at this time? Because once we identify the key performance indicators, then we can start to track those. And from that tracking, that's how we extract where we're going to make moves or what moves should be made next, and how to grow this business, scale with informed decisions.
I love that because when I first started my first company, it was a construction painting company. And I used QuickBooks. Everything from the taxes came out of it, payrolls to my contractors came out of it. And I think that people, especially like solopreneurs or people who are now moving from their solopreneur position to actually hiring employees, may not understand the value of software like QuickBooks. So you just kind of ran down the benefits, but as a QuickBooks Pro advisor, can you give them reasons why they should at least consider using a software like QuickBooks besides with the reports and everything? Like, explain the benefits on how it could help them grow so that they can scale from multi six figures to the 8-figure realm.
Absolutely. And so like we just mentioned before, when you have this information and that you are tracking and able to use it for yourself within your company, you can look at this data that you are able to pull out of QuickBooks. You can extract it over into Excel format. You can convert it over to Google Sheets and share it with others on your team if they may need to see it. So like I may build out budgets for clients, and then I can extract that data. We can manipulate it there, and then I can import it back into QuickBooks to get what we need. But from there, if you have inventory, it does inventory tracking for you. I mean, it just depends on your business and what your business needs are, however, like how you may use QuickBooks. But the bottom line is, you cannot successfully run a business without knowing your numbers. Like, you just cannot. So you need to be using some type of software. And I'm not saying it has to be QuickBooks. It could be Xero. I've had experience with Microsoft Dynamics GP. Depending on the size of your organization and your needs and complexities, then that software does change. It's a good start, QuickBooks, and it'll carry you quite some distance, to be honest. I have $1 million companies using QuickBooks, okay? So you can use it for a while, right? Successfully. differently. So I want to point that out too. So you don't have to upscale to some of the higher ones that I just mentioned, but there is so much that can be done within your accounting software that is beneficial to you as a business owner. You don't want to ignore that part of the business because you absolutely need to know, hey, am I profitable? Am I successful? If you're selling products, for instance, I know some of the people who've been on your platform, your podcast, have been people who may be selling products. Well, they need to be tracking that because it might be a decision needs to be made. Hey, this one is not my best. Let's move that out the way and bring in something else on my lineup. Or, hey, I'm going to push this one a little more because run a special on this one. This is how these types of decisions are made. When you have your data and your information and then you use it. So that's what we want to encourage everyone. Have it available because this is how you're going to run your business and make your strategic planning decisions. Not only that, tax time is a whole lot easier. Most tax preparers aren't going to touch you without that information. And we need to see that in order to even get your taxes done. We have to have data that comes out of your accounting software to put the financials together that helps guide your tax professional as well. So, and that's another service, of course, we provide. But yes, step one is your bookkeeping, getting that in order. And then you level up to tax planning and tax strategies. And then, of course, now you're ready to do CFO advisory services as the business is growing and you're starting to see, hey, we're multiple six figures now, or we're trending right at the top of that and we want to grow it further. Scaling is very important. So that's when this data is critical. It's going to be your lifeline.
I love it because in business, data matters. Like you said, with the key performance indicators, also known as KPIs, you wouldn't even be able to know if your inventory, let's say if you had 5 products and one of them was a number one seller and another one is not selling as much as you think it is, but that's the one that you're promoting on social media. Using that data could be able to be a game changer to now where you can find a way to market the product that's selling the most, where now you can put more money behind getting the capital to produce more inventory. I really understand that. And I want the dreamers to understand that your financials play a huge role with understanding the data and how your company is going to operate. Is literally the heartbeat of your company.
Absolutely. And it just is, but you get it. Like you really understand exactly what I'm saying because this information comes out. People are like wondering, or a lot of people just float by and they just make these decisions. If you dig into your data, you're actually going to know which decision to make. Like, and you can run specials based on the right one, the right product. You can push the right product at the right time, run a special or whatever it is you choose to do, but you will know when to maybe pull one back too. That's important. You know, like you're putting more money into this one. It's not the one. It's your favorite, but that's not what your clients are telling you. They're buying the other one. So you need to shift, you know, and that's critical for us to be able to know in business when it's time to pivot. When we can understand our numbers and we're working with consultants and they're helping us to dig deeper and to scale our businesses, then we can know when it's time to pivot, like we need to know in our careers. So I've started in banking back in 97. I did a whole lot of wore a lot of hats in banking, vice president, ended, at that status along the way. And in that time period, I loved other things too, like real estate. I'm also a realtor. And so within that time, I was not able to be licensed during those years I was in banking because of it being a conflict of interest, but it was still a passion I had. So I did it for myself. I became an investor and just bought rental property. So I've been a landlord for 22 years now. And I, did it on the side, behind the scenes, quietly. But once I got licensed in 2019, February of 2019, I left banking. So I had my license by April. So this is what we do. Yeah, we've just pressed the gas. It's like, okay, the handcuffs are off, I'm gone. So I just, pivoted into that and added that because finance, again, real estate is dealing a lot with finance, clearly, because you're making the largest purchase of your personal life a lot of times, or you're purchasing a commercial building if you're a business owner, maybe. These are huge purchases. So it's dealing a lot with finance, it's dealing with financials. You need your taxes. Once again, here that comes. So even as a business owner, we're using those taxes in our personal lives as well. So that would be an instance where it was needed. But the finance space has always been my place to play, on the front end, but behind the scenes, I did the real estate game and loved it as well. So now I do both. And it's just been awesome to freely be able to do both.
How you're able to have your hands in many things, but they coincide. Like you said, you're taking the best of both worlds, yes. The things that you're passionate about, and you're going out and doing it. And I think so many people, specifically women, get in positions where they don't know that if they are okay with doing two things at the same time. Like even if they have a corporate job or they want to, have a side hustle, they may be doing something really great on the side, but afraid to embrace it. How did you adjust to that, where you were able to not only step out on faith and a new corporate job in banking, but also take on the role of investment?
So a lot of studying at home in my free time, right? So even though if you're in a situation like I was in back then where I couldn't officially be licensed, but I can make the deals, I could do my own thing, right? For myself, I just couldn't help others do it and be paid for it. But what I did was a lot of studying quietly at home by myself, going to events and programs, conferences where what I was interested in was taking place. So I put myself in those spaces and just leveled up personally. I didn't do it as a business yet. I didn't introduce it to the world yet, but I was getting my skill set up and my knowledge. I'm studying on my own. Even when I did officially take my course, I did a home study course. I did it all online. And then I had to go and have my pre-test. You have to take an exam in Georgia where you do a pre-test and it's proctored. So I did have to go to the library and they watched me do that exam and had it scored there, of course. And then the real estate exam that I took and national exam, you go to a facility for those. And that's, of course, proctored as well. But the course itself, I did that all at home. So I can still be doing other things because I'm studying at home. And that is one of the ways we can do it because, believe it or not, and this may shock you, but my degrees are actually in communication. My career was built in finance. And it's the way things happened. And throughout my career, which began, like I said, with the banking side in 97, but I ended up having, over the years, I had the life health insurance licenses, securities licenses, so 663s. I've done my certification, of course. It's been so many things I've had to acquire or have throughout that time period. And so in doing that, you're steady learning, and you can do more than one thing. If you have an interest, don't let someone steer you from that. I've never let someone say, well, you're a banker. Why are you dealing with real estate? Because I like to do this. This is what I enjoy. And I can do two things at one time, and if you are that person, do it. Do not stop, because you may leave your corporate career at some point, and what you've been building behind the scenes quietly may be your new, what you're jumping from, the small bowl to the big bowl, the big leap. So that's just
journey. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you go, but I just wanted to say, I love how you focus on continuous improvement and learning.
Yes. And I'm still today. I still take classes quietly. I just do my courses. Continuing education is required for my CTP certification. I have to do that to maintain it. But, and I've had that since January 2011. So I've had a really long time, but I stay on top of that one. And as well as my real estate license, I'm required to do continuing education to maintain that license as well. So all the things we do, even outside of that, I'm always the continuous self-improvement, learning, find a course, do it at home, do it on your own time, but make that time. If it's really something you're interested in or passionate about, take the class, take a course, level up. This will elevate you not only for your own business, but even maybe for what you're doing at work, if they're related somehow. I was always in that finance space some kind of way. So either through banking or even in real estate, it's all finance really for me. So that's, what I was doing. And it's possible.
Well, I want to ask you a question that, a lot of entrepreneurs may hear all of the good things, but were there any obstacles that you faced on your road to getting where you're at today? But showing how you were able to be resilient and overcome them as well.
With launching the accounting side of the business, it was not like a cakewalk. It did end up coming to me from a previous client. My client was an anesthesiologist. So remember, during the banking career, part of that time I was a private banker. So that's when I'm banking the affluent market, the high net worth individuals. So one of those persons was an anesthesiologist, and he needed this work done. So I'm their banker already. So I'm already in all their finances. He and his wife, I'm already all in the business because I'm the one that did the loan for their new home and the whole nine. We somehow got on that topic, talked about it, and I ended up being a bookkeeper for them because of his practice and the other things he had going on. Like, this man definitely was one of those people we talked about where you do this, but you wear other hats too. So he was an entrepreneur, even though he was a medical doctor. And so I started with them. It just came out of a need. And that happened back in like 2000. So I ended up leaving. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I moved to Atlanta over 20 years ago. And when that happened, I stopped, working for them because the world wasn't set up the way it is today. If I had this current setup, they would still would have maintained them as a client because I could have done it from here like I do now. My clients are throughout the U.S. I don't just do Georgia or whatnot. My clients are throughout the U.S. And back then, this was not possible. So, but that's how it started. When I was a senior business lending officer, vice president in business banking, it came up again because now I'm looking at financials all the time. And I'm like, you guys bring this to me. You got to have it in order. I'm going to, fight for you to get your loan, but you got to give me what I need. We need the financials in order. So all I'm talking to is business owners, and business clients were my clients, at the bank. So this is a way to help them get prepared to come into my office with what I need to see so that we can present this to the committee and get you this business line of credit or your working capital you're looking for. And some might need equipment loans, term loans, but it all started with those financials. So again, if you see a need or a niche where you're currently working and that's part of your passion, start quietly. You can just do things to be helpful, but run your business in your own free time, long as it's not conflicting with work. And just, a lot of people maybe like talk too much. So just do what you need to do.
Move in silence. That's the key word.
If people would just catch that. I promise, and that is something I do extremely well. I'm like, you don't always have to tell everything, just move in silence. But yes, that was a big thing for me. So getting started was basically finding a need, filling that need. And then as you move around, other people start saying, oh, I need this, or I use this type of service, or I need that in my business. And then of course, referrals are amazing. So all those things help, but definitely move in silence, get the education you need. If you're working in one field, you'd like to transition or pivot to something else, start studying or putting yourself in a place of where that takes place. And don't be afraid to jump in classes, online, in person. I did them all kind of which ways to make it work, but I love a lot of online training because of the flexibility.
Yeah. I love that too. And I like the fact that you started off with a challenge of not being able to meet the clients in other locations and places, but that didn't prevent you from like giving up on your dream of doing the accounting consultant and taking on new clients. And I think so many people get afraid when things don't go their way the first time, they give up on it. But to be resilient, that shows a lot. And it also shows how all those years of work have put you to where you're more successful now and even greater.
Absolutely. I mean, and you can't, if you're going to earn some client business, you'll lose some client business along the way. Don't let these things block you. Learn and grow from every step, truthfully. And so I've had some clients you almost wish would go away if it, because maybe they're too demanding for more than what you can give or provide at the time. And then other clients, you'll win, you'll keep them for a lifetime. So not giving up. A no is just a one step closer to the yes. So you're not going to win every client every time. Don't take things personally. So when people are like, oh, let me introduce you, and it's so great that they thought of you, right? Just always be grateful. Be glad that they thought of you. They put your hat in the ring, maybe spoke your name when you weren't in the room. And those are things I'm always grateful for. But at the same time, if I don't win that business, maybe a different person providing that service is a better fit for them. On to the next one.
Yeah.
You got to have a next type attitude with this thing, not taking it personally, learning, growing, evolving from every step of the way. But hang in there. And it does take time. Don't let social media fool you. Let's talk about that, because a lot of people are posting and they have these amazing, fabulous lives. But I love to tell people, I've been a banker to a lot of people, right? Over those years, I got to see a lot of bank accounts, business and personal. I can assure you, some of what you all see in the smoke and mirrors, a lot of those people don't have what they have unless they're way up that food chain. And I can say, well, yeah, now their account really is what what it is. And it's old money, like long term, they've been had that money, kind of a thing. But a lot of people put it out there, or they floss online and make you feel less than. And you really shouldn't, because if you were their banker, you would know the truth. You'd be like, let me log in here and check. Now, that's not what they're saying. Or it might have been there for a day or two. If they're not wise with money, they won't hold on to that money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not making good decisions, you don't have a good foundation, you're so focused on impressing and doing all this foolishness online and not really focused on running that business and making wise decisions and investments, they won't have it long. I've seen it too many times. So,
wow. And that's a gem. And I know that you dropped so many gems on this call, like just listen to all of the wise suggestions and advice that you provided. But if you were to give dreamers on the call one gem that could help them on their journey, whether they are in their corporate career looking to climb the ladder, or even an entrepreneur who's on the grind and the hustle to be successful and scale, what would you provide them with? What gem would you give them?
Always bet on you and do what it takes. Again, and when I say move in silence, I'm so serious about that. A lot of times people are quite surprised when I make the next move or the next, because I haven't said anything. And by the time I bring it forth, it's already done. It's in action. I've already made that move or one that whatever it is going on, right? So I would say always bet on you. If you know who you are and you're going to put in the work and do what it takes, because I've had to do a lot of that. So all those licenses I've talked about and securities and all this crap along the way, guess what? That's a lot of evening studying. That's a lot of weekend free time giving up until I achieved that goal, till I sat for that exam, till I got what I needed, right? So bet on you and do what you need to do. Put it in, do the work.
Kimberly, it's been great having you online, and I'm so glad that we connected at the conference. Of course, you're my soror. Shout out to Delta Sigma Theta.
All right.
But I just want to really, say that to a lot of dreamers who are online, it's very important when you go to networking events to talk to other people, share what you do, because her and I sat next to each other, and we had no idea that we shared so many things in common. And look, fast forward 3 weeks, we're doing a podcast together. And I'm sure this won't be the last time that we work together. So, Kimberly, thank you again for joining the Forever a Dreamer podcast. But before we leave, I want you to tell the dreamers how they can find you on social media, or even how they can work with you if they're interested.
Most of the social media might be under my real estate side. So Sold by K Love is at Sold by K Love. And then my company website is KRL Consulting, LLC.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Kimberly Love on LinkedIn, and my company name is listed on there. So if you find that particular one, because I just realized it's millions of us apparently on LinkedIn. But yes, I'm either Kimberly Love everywhere or at Sold by K Love.
We're definitely going to tap in, and you're now a member of our community, and I'm so thankful. But dreamers, I'm so glad that you were able to join this episode. If you are not following us on social media, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn under Forever a Dreamer with the HER. And we also have an amazing community where we have a free membership, but also a paid, where you can learn, tap into new resources, and get on that journey to scaling your business or even in your career. And that community is Dreamology. And you can find us at wearedreamology.com. So thank you so much for listening. I can't wait for you guys to join the next episode. Thank you. Have a great day.